Okay, it's come time to assemble this hydraulic cover here, and I've put a bush in this side just to support the other end of the shaft here. Now, when you look at the shaft, perhaps this way, yep, this spline is offset. So this spline, when this lever or arm is there, it has to be under where the push rod goes here. So that's what takes all the load. So this shaft would go in that way there. If you can get the gist of that. Looks a bit upside down to me, but anyway. So I've just put a bush in this side just to support it. You can't put a bush in this other side because you need to bring this fat piece of spline through. So we'll just have a look and just see what we can get up to. I'll bring him through here. Now I have to line up the master spline. Now the master spline in our instance is just there. So where are we? Just I'll see if I can see it down this side here, if I can. There he is. I'll have to get down and try and line it up by eye a bit better. There we go. So that's sliding in there. I probably need to zoom out a little bit if I can, but I'll just see how we go there. So, look, that fits there okay. I'm happy with that. So that can go back and forth. So what we need to do, I'll level this up so the shaft doesn't want to line out, which doesn't help you much. Hang on, I'll bring you around the back here. Okay, that can bring you around the back there. Now, on this shaft we need an O-ring. And then another bush. And I'll grease these up as I go, I think. Okay, that goes in there. And this other side here, same happens. So I'll just come in through. We put the O-ring on. We don't put the O-ring on. I nearly buggered that up. We put a bush in. Then the O-ring goes on. And the other bush. Then that should be able to just go inside onto the shaft. I'll try and find a my little brass punch, and look, all I want to do is just dump those bushes along. The bushes are quite loose in the housing really, so there's the master spline, there it is. Okay, so the bushes are in good enough for the moment. This comes back and forth. Lovely. This is about the centre of the bolts, roughly, give or take. Okay, so the next one, these have a bit of grease on them already. So this side here has to go inside. This is the outside where the bolts go. And there's our master spline. So if we bring this forward, we can see the master spline just there. Now, this one would have to go on this side here. There's that master spline just there. I'll just give that a little bit of a that's firm, and that firm's good. And this one here, we'll see if we can get him started as well. Okay, so that's almost level with one side there. This can probably I probably should I need to clean. I'll just put one of these on backwards just over here to hold it all in place until I can clean it up. I should have had it cleaned by now, but anyway. He needs to come back here a bit, but look, you can see the gist of it there. I've got to bring this on further, just so I can. I'll bring you back out a little bit. it'll come across. So, okay, you can see what's going to happen there. I'll probably do that off camera, save you sitting there watching me hammering away. The donkey dick here, that's where it should be. I'm yet to find a new roll pin for in here, a pin to go through to hold that in place, but there will be one of those going in. So that should be, you'll see a little screwdriver sitting here. Now, up in the end where this draft spring comes in, there's a washer like this. This isn't the one we're using. There's a washer like this, and there's a hole there, and we have to keep the, I'll just get this little bracket that fell down. We have to get we have to keep this washer in place so that when this push rod's here and it's pushing through onto the draft spring, or the draft spring's sending a signal to it, it has to be lined up so that it can actually push on there. So, so that's what that's all about. What I could probably do at this stage is put the draft spring up. I've set it all up, as you can see, so that's all done. So I probably need to roll this around the other side, roll him over. Okay, I've rolled this over, and on this other side I have the shaft, I have a washer sitting there, and I have the nut done up tight so that the arm on the other side and the shaft are level. Now, with this one here, you may notice that to break it level, I've got to bring it out there. And that's, I've not checked if this SparX shaft is longer than the original, and I probably won't. I might do a tape measure, but I don't want to pull it all out again. But so what happens is these arms here, the lift arms, should be a 1/16 or so, maybe 1/8 of an inch combined, wider than the shaft. So you can actually tighten the bolts up on this washer here and bring in some drag so the arms are not pulling that tight against the housing here, but there's no movement there, there's no slop about. But with the wear in here and on the other side, you can see, I can show you some wear there. I'll get rid of that light now for a second. And you can see the wear there where the bush has been coming out and wearing, and I've tidied that surface up a little bit. You can feel in here, you've got the outer edge there, and then where this piece here was running in there's wear in there as well. So what we're going to do, we used to have to do it with John Deere's too, the shaft would come across and away you'd go, is we're going to have to make a spacer washer, and the spacer washer is going to go in between the linkage arm and the housing here. Now, should we make one or two and even it out? Well, I don't think being even is going to matter that much in this. I may make a couple of washers, like, well, I got the stuff there, it's easy to make a couple, and I'll try and get this shape pretty well right if I can. So I may make it to where the indent is in there, I may make it just to that size. So what we need to be able to do is nip one side up and nip this other side up so it just comes down on its own. So it's not holding in its place, it's not staying halfway up like that. With its own weight, it's just coming down. But this here, if we leave it like that, that shaft's going to, every time you use the tractor, that's going to slop back and forth, and it's going to bring dirt into the system and things like that. So that's a job to do. I'm probably not going to do it just now because I'd like to get this all assembled. But yeah, look, it's just something to be aware of. When I do it, when I make the washer, I still have to clean all this up yet. But when I make the spacer washer, that one being tight over this side, I probably won't put one there. I'll just put one on this side here, I'd say, and we'll go from there. The other thing would be to make a little stepped washer here as well. But anyway, I'd like to keep this standard, and we'll just take up any wear, and I'll line this up and I'll do a tape measure across the outside, and I've still got the old shaft here, so I'll just see, just in case the Sparex one's a little longer or something like that. Okay, next cab off the rank is put this fella in. This is our draft spring. Now, we've put the washer, this is the old washer, but we've put a washer down the bottom so the draft link can come and sense. Then this has to go in like that. And the nut needs tightening up. Now, this is going to be hard to show you really. This little Allen key goes in there with the lock nut. This one goes in here just to support it all. Now, it may be easier to roll this over and show you. I just don't know. That may be better. And this nut here, it starts screwing in. Now, I used to have the proper spanner for this, but I don't have one anymore. I sold it when I sold my business. So this here needs to come up, and you'll feel a bit of movement there. So you just got to wriggle it around until it moves easily. I might just get the multis and give myself a hand with that. I've got a buggered finger and I've got the black glove on, and it's, I don't know, I could never work with gloves much. Be no good being a surgeon, eh? So we'll start bringing this screw in. And what we're looking for is, see this movement here, the back and forth movement. We're trying to get rid of that. So I might just bring you down just a little bit. But this back and forth movement, like we took all the movement out of the bolt and the yoke there the other day, and this movement here, we need to bring this to 0. So the back and forth movement, we want it at 0. Now, keep in mind that tighter is not better in this instance. So now we've still got it. So what happens is we screw this in until that disappears. But if we keep going, it comes back again. Like we don't want it to do that. So yeah, so I've got like 2 threads out. So I'm going to go outside now, and I'm going to check some of my other tractors and just see how they look through there. Now, I also would like to check that where We are just there, but look, I believe that adjustment's wrong. I'm going to revisit that. I think I should pull the pin here, adjust this a little bit firmer so it can go in that little bit further. I can feel the back of the nut. I believe I can feel the back of the nut through there. It should be in deeper. Normally this here is about level with the back there, so I feel we need to go in a few.